Alright, now that I've expelled all the hype out of my system, salutations everybody. Wow, this has honestly been one of Microsoft's best E3 conferences in a long time. Not just because of Halo, although it did play a major role in improving their presentation, but the conference itself had a lot of awesome game reveals. Game Pass has started to become much more enticing as well, and they even hinted at a new console in the works. But we're here to talk about my thoughts on the Halo Infinite trailer. Now, I'm not planning on analyzing each and every frame of this trailer, as I feel that considering this teaser is meant to demonstrate the new Slipspace engine, we really can't gather much information about the game with what we currently have. Plus, all of the other YouTubers are analyzing this frame by frame already, so it's kind of fruitless for me to do it as well. There are a couple of things here and there that we can use to theorize how the game's story will play out, and I'll get to those later on in the video, but even with what we find, it's mostly speculative theories at this point. We don't even have a release date yet, which should say something about how far off this game seems to be from release. This means that everything seen in the trailer is potentially subject to change, and we might not even have access to environments like the ones seen in this trailer in the retail product. However, for the sake of this video, I'll let you know my opinions of what we've seen so far and how I feel about it, and assuming what we see in the trailer is in fact representative of what we'll get in the final game, I'll conjecture what I feel is the direction this game is headed toward in terms of gameplay. Let me repeat, this was a teaser. We know absolutely nothing about this game. No gameplay was shown, no direct hits to a story was mentioned, and with no release date in sight, the content seen in this trailer isn't guaranteed to stay throughout the game's development. So while I'm hyped as all hell for Halo Infinite, I ask for you guys to keep your mind sharp about all this, and to not let your hype cloud your critical thinking. So, did I like what I saw? Oh, you bet your skimpy asses I did. The reveal for this game was absolutely magical. You had to have been there during the revelation itself, whether it was on stream or physically at E3, to really feel the impact that this teaser gave off. The moment the Master Chief came into focus and the new rendition of Halo 3's Finish the Fight started playing, I felt like I was on cloud 9. It was a profoundly emotional moment for me, and even now I'm still awestruck by how well executed this tease was. Microsoft couldn't have asked for a better opener for their press conferences here. It was a smart move on their part to start out as strong as they did, to let the audience know that they have listened to their consumer base and they're ready to deliver the goods as promised. 343 has also posted a small article about Halo Infinite on Halo Waypoint, and there's a few tidbits that I felt need to be discussed about. According to this article, this is confirmed to be a continuation of the events after Halo 5, and it'll be a story mainly centered around the Master Chief this time. Essentially, Halo Infinite is Halo 6, sort of. The big detail about this article, however, is that they mention that there will be future flight programs for players to help test the game, just like with what's going on right now with the Master Chief Collection Insider program. If I were all of you, I'd join Xbox Insider and the Halo Feedback program this instant so you get that process out of the way to potentially test some developmental builds for this game. I have absolutely no idea when these tests could start. They could start at the end of this year or early next year for all we know, so join the programs now so you have a chance to secure your spots. Anyways, I'm going to talk about a couple of things in the trailer that I felt were worth mentioning. Keep in mind that anything that I say about the contents of the trailer is speculative at best, and I'm not confirming anything. These are just my observations as well as those made by a few others, and I'll mention them in this video. For starters, Twitter users LoreTarcom and Haruspecs of Hell strongly believe that this takes place on Installation 07, or Zeta Halo, as the topography and wildlife present in the teaser match up to various descriptions of said setting. For example, it was mentioned in the Hunters in the Dark novel that deer-like creatures reside on the installation, and they're featured in the video as well. However, this could still be any of the existing installations despite the similarities. I also really like the designs of some of these creatures. While they're heavily based on animals that exist on Earth, they seem to have evolved differently than their Earth counterparts thanks to the similar but very different climate and environments that they live in, hence why they don't look exactly like any of the animals we know of on Earth. Later on in the trailer, we're inside the cockpit of a crashed Pelican, and it was here that I knew I was watching a Halo trailer, but not because I recognized that we were inside a Pelican. When the camera moves closer to the front of the ship, a small, hardly noticeable poster on the left can be seen, and it says "Fight for Her." This same kind of poster can be seen as far back as Halo Combat Evolved in the Pillar of Autumn's bridge, located on a small bulletin board in between the two exits. A poster similar to this one can also be found in various parts of the Halo 3 ODST campaign on the Master Chief Collection. They're not on the 360 version since the original posters were hinting at Destiny instead. In the same cockpit, there's a panel located in the front of the ship that states a specific date, May 27th, 2560, which could mean that this is the time the game will take place in. I would just like to point out that this trailer reminds me of the E3 2000 presentation for Halo CE, with all of the expansive environments and the wildlife that inhabit them. One thing that I'm seeing many YouTubers and commenters suggest about Halo Infinite is that it will be an open world game. And while that isn't out of the question given how little we know of this game, I wouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. For all we know, there's an equally good chance that this specific area of the trailer won't have any in-game renditions in the final product. As for my opinion on the subject, I wouldn't mind if the game was open world as long as it's done correctly. As much as I loved Halo 3 ODST's Mombasa streets, it felt lifeless in plenty of its sections, which was most likely on purpose since pretty much every civilian was evacuated, but this left very little to do in the city, especially once you've beaten the game. If Halo Infinite plans to take an open world approach to this game, there needs to be plenty to do within the overworld that offers the same 30 seconds of fun found in most of the other Halo games. What I'd rather this game harken back to are the open, expansive levels seen in Halo Combat Evolved. For example, in the second mission of the game, you have the option to complete the latter half of the level in any order you choose, and the play space in general is non-restrictive. The Silent Cartographer takes a similar approach, where you can either head to the Cartographer's entrance immediately, or head in the opposite direction to head to the security override station. This is what I'd personally like to see done with Halo Infinite's missions. Lastly, let's talk about Master Chief's armor. It is indeed based off the original rendition of the Mark VI seen in Halos 2 and 3. However, there are those who have an issue with this change given how it's supposedly a dated design, and the Gen 2 variation of the Mark VI seen in Halos 4 and 5 are more advanced. To me, I think this is fine. This actually isn't the first time that Halo has used the designs from older Mjolnir armors on a more current platform. Take for example the Mark V helmet from Halo 3's multiplayer. When you use this helmet, you aren't reverting back to the Halo 1 health system because the design harkens back to the Mark V suit. It's an updated version of the helmet made for the newest version of Mjolnir at the time. I conjecture that something similar to that is happening with Chief's armor in Halo Infinite. His armor was pretty banged up after his fight with Locke in Halo 5, and if the date inside the Pelican cockpit is relevant to the time this game takes place, I would imagine the Chief wouldn't want to use the same battered suit for nearly 2 years. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the Halo Infinite trailer. If, and only if, you like what you saw, hit the like button and subscribe for more Halo content on this channel, and hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and join my Discord server as well. This will probably be my only video on Halo Infinite for some time given how little we know about the game. So stay tuned for more videos on this in the future when we start getting more news on it. This is the Vengeful Vadam, and I'll see you on the great journey.